Hi, I'm Shade Ferre with TaxSaleSupport.com. I'm here with Swenson, and in this video, we're going to show you how you can find mobile homes for under $2,000 that you can use to start to build monthly revenue or monthly income for yourself. And we're going to show you basically how you can find these properties and a little bit more about how that works.
Yeah, absolutely. This is really kind of a strategy that a lot of investors don't know about, is how you can actually buy these mobile homes and start earning residual income. We've seen these properties sell for as little as $500 for nicer ones, maybe up to $5,000 or $10,000 for a really nice one. But really, this is a great opportunity for those investors that are just getting started, or as a new investment strategy to start bringing residual income or flip them for profit.
Yeah, now one thing that's interesting about mobile homes is that they're treated differently, depending on exactly where you're at. Um, when we are looking at mobile homes that are offered up for sale, oftentimes these mobile homes are personal property, they're taxed as personal property, so they don't come with the land that they're sitting on. A lot of times these mobile homes are taxed as that. When they're foreclosed on that, it's also as personal property. So basically, they're still sitting inside a mobile home park, but they don't own the land that they sit on, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. So in another video, we're going to teach you how to be able to purchase mobile homes with land. There's a great opportunity there. In fact, we purchased one last month for about $2,000, and we'll show you that in another video. But these particular mobile homes are going to be offered as personal property. So they're taxed very much the same way. But like Shade said, these are going to be in mobile home parks where you don't actually own the land.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting about these is that you can buy the mobile home and also continue to rent out, the place where it's sitting. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the mobile home has to be moved. It just means that you need to make an arrangement there with the landowner there to basically rent out the lot fee. But you can pick up mobile homes for very low prices, and a lot of times, the monthly rental fee for the lot isn't a lot. It could be you might pay a couple $100 to maybe $400 a month for rental. Not a large price though compared to how much you can bring in from rental income on a mobile home like this, which could easily be between $500 to $1,500 a month, no problem. And so there's tremendous potential here to create monthly revenue or monthly income for yourself using something like one of these mobile homes that are listed for sale.
Yeah, exactly. To kind of show you guys how that would work, let's say that we ended up paying $3,000 for a mobile home that we could rent out for $1,000 a month. Now, let's say this mobile home park had a lot fee of $300 a month. So, minus that lot fee, we would be making about $700 a month in residual income once we paid the lot fees. So we are talking about properties that will be on mobile home parks in most cases. Sometimes they may be on a personal piece of land, and we have to contact that property owner and figure out a deal with them to be able to essentially rent the lot space. But there's an opportunity, and like in this case, you could make an additional $8,400 a month renting out this mobile home that you picked up for $3,000. So really, within the you know, uh, first few months, the mobile home has paid for itself, and now you have residual income coming in every single month.
Yeah, well, and it works out well for the mobile home park owner, because they're making, the $300 a month off of you and everybody else, So basically, they're earning about roughly $2,400 a year, off of the rental of your lot. But they have all the other lots that they rent out there, as well. And so, yeah, it works out well for them. But this also can work out well for you because, the $700 a month, which would be the difference between that, is really a pretty good amount to bring in terms of monthly revenue or income. I mean, there are lots of small businesses owners, that are starting up that really struggle, to create $700 a month of positive income. And so that's powerful if you can do that, because it's not just once a month. I mean, you're talking about money that'll continue to come in as long as you have that property rented out, upwards of $8,000 a year in income, which you can see how that would add up quickly with a few properties like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you were to have 5 or 10, you could bring in significant income every single month that is just coming in every single month and really able to start building your net worth. Now, in addition to renting these properties out, you could also buy and sell them as well. So you're essentially buying it as personal property, similar to you're buying a car, for example. You would need to the one thing you need to do is you need to pay the lot fee until you're able to find the buyer for the mobile home. There's a lot of buyers out there that will go in and buy these mobile homes within mobile home parks, is essentially their first opportunity to start buying a property. Even though they don't necessarily own the land, they're buying the property. So there is people out there. In fact, we can see all kinds of mobile homes for sale in mobile home parks that are selling between $20,000 to $100,000, just by flipping the mobile home itself.
Yeah, in fact, you can do pretty well just with the purchase of the mobile home without doing anything long term. In other words, you could literally just buy the property and turn around and list it and sell it for a decent profit if you bought it well. So there is good opportunity that way, and also for long-term monthly residual income. But there's some things you want to do before you buy them. You wouldn't want to just buy them outright. There's steps you want to take and some research that you want to do. For example, one of the things you would want to do would be to contact the mobile home park to find out about the fees and the requirements. And also, well, actually, they're probably going to be the ones that know the most about the property as well. They're the most likely to know information about the property's history or what has gone on with it. And so they're really a person or an individual that you'd want to probe for information. And you want to ask them some questions about the property because they're more likely to know than anybody else. And you could probably learn things, you just wouldn't learn any other way.
Yeah, in fact, in talking with the mobile home park, we may decide that, hey, this is a great property, but it also may be a way to find out if it's a property that we want to avoid. They may have some information that says, hey, in this case, let's go ahead and back out. But if you can get in good with them, that's going to give you a good opportunity to have a good relationship with them and be able to rent that property out. But it's important you find out their rules, their regulations, their lot fees, all that kind of information before you buy. That's going to be paramount to buying any of these type of properties. And then if we're looking at them, unless we've got current photos of them that is being provided by the auction website or the county, we're going to want to get on-site evaluations to verify what we may see on Google Maps.
Yeah. In fact, we have to have current images of the property just so we can determine what the condition of the property is. Now, one thing that's nice about mobile homes is, that you can see, when the property is manufactured. You can get an idea of, of its condition and, maybe how it's been cared for. But they're relatively easy to repair and, not that much different from a lot of the things you do with regular homes. And so there's no real problems that way. But certainly, though, the condition of the property is what's going to determine what our bids will be, the condition, and then also finding comps and checking the market, which that's another big part of it. Is we don't just blindly buy in any market. We always have a pretty good idea of what that market is like and how much real estate is moving through that market. Whether it's an area that we are going to be able to sell properties in quickly or whether it's going to take a long time. It's something we usually know before we buy. So if it's a good fast market, then we could move a property very quickly. But we want to avoid picking up properties in markets that are too stagnant or slow. And so that's something we're always checking for. But why don't we show you actually what we're talking about here and go look at some of these mobile homes that are currently up in an auction.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and Shade brings up a real good point. It's important we determine the market condition. What are mobile homes selling for in that area? How long does it take before they sell them? Also get a good idea of the rental history and the rental market within that area, especially if we're going to be renting these properties out. We want to get a good idea of, what does a 2-bedroom, 1-bath mobile home in this type of condition usually rent for within the area. That way we kind of know how much we can start bringing in a month once we've got the property in our hands and have gone through and changed the locks and the things like that so that it's ready to be rented out.
Yeah, now here we have, this is a mobile home sale. This one is being conducted through Bid for Assets. And we can see that it's Pierce County, Washington, their finance department, and this is their distraint mobile home sale. There are, let's see, ends here on the 29th. There are 39 distraint mobile homes here starting at about $409. And so now we can go here and we can drop down and see different folders that we have here. So if we're looking at the first folder here, we can see the property, like for instance, you can see some properties that have been withdrawn, meaning that these are properties that have likely redeemed, or had the individuals pay off whatever it was owed beforehand to avoid that. But there's still lots of properties that are available. And so, for example, we can see this property right here. Actually, did I click on the right one here? I think
The other one was the one that I lined up, the top one.
this one right here.
It's not necessarily the best examples, but it's not bad. It started at $872, and we can go down and get a look at some of the basics on it.
Yeah, what's interesting. So what they do tell us here is they've got a parcel image we can click on right here. Some mobile home details. We can also see how they assess the property's value, which can give us some idea about the condition of the property. But we can also see where it's located at here currently. So let's click on the parcel image here first. And here we have some images of the property.
If you click on that, yeah, views both slides. So this one's an older mobile home, probably going to need a little bit of work, but starts out at $872. Will probably sell for pretty cheap. And we can get in kind of an idea of what the current condition is, if it looks like it's currently occupied. Based on this kind of information, we may decide, hey, this mobile home isn't worth it, or it looks good, let's go ahead and bid on it.
Yeah, in fact, let's do this. All right, here are some more. Here's another one here that's currently at $612. Let me just scroll down a bit here. Assessed value on it, they put at $26,000. And let's look here, these full-size images here.
So in both of these cases, we are looking at older mobile homes, but this one looks a little bit cleaner than the last one. Looks like it was still occupied recently. And in that case, we may be able to just rent it out to who's currently living in the property.
Yeah, that very well might be a good option here. And yeah, we see this property basically, currently it's very low bidding here. And there are a lot more that are like it. Let's look at one more here.
It's that third one down on the second batch.
Is that, would it be this one here?
I think one more. Oh yeah, that's right. I believe so.
Oh yeah, that's right, okay. Oh yes, okay, so we can see, so this one right here, it's currently at $3,000 right now, which is a little bit higher than what the other one is, but you can also see that it's bigger, and this one's a double wide basically, and we can see that it has a total assessed value here of $63,000. Appears to be a newer mobile home as well.
Yeah, we can go ahead and click on that parcel image and get a better idea.
And yeah, here we can see that it is, essentially kind of a double wide there with an awning over it. And then there's also, it looks like a carport, that's been built up here next to the property. And so it's really not bad. That is a pretty nice property here for starting out so low.
Well, you can see things that have been done to it. It looks like it has a newer roof. Looks like they've even updated the windows. Looks like it's been painted and added new skirting to it. So there's a lot of things that are positive about it. Let's actually grab that address listed on it and let's do a quick Zillow search.
All right, let's do this right here.
So we can see this property is located in Tacoma, Washington.
Yeah, I wonder if I need to put on the number here. Oh yeah, it's going to have me add that here, I do believe. Number 2. Oh, maybe it's not. Maybe, let's see. I guess it has just kind of brought us over here. Oh, that's when it's done. So it's brought us to the complex here. It shows us which one it is here. I think that's it.
Let's go ahead and try it on Zillow.
And yeah, here we see the value at 68,000 here. On Zillow. Does it pull up on Redfin?
I'm not sure if it did or not. One thing that we'll do is we'll look underneath the zip code as well and see what other mobile homes are for sale. In fact, they'll actually post some of them over there to the side. And those are the mobile homes that we can go ahead and start looking at potential comps.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of actually really good comps right here. Yeah, that's one thing that's also nice about mobile homes is, because they're fairly standard sizes for them, you can usually find pretty good comps on them as well, as long as you're matching up apples to apples. So if you're trying to keep them around relatively the same size and same age, you can find a pretty good deal on comps and get pretty accurate numbers here on it. So yeah, those are actually all sold comps.
Those are actually pretty good examples. 69, 67, 75,000. Those are probably pretty similar in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, yeah, probably very similar. Yeah, building 78, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, in fact, it looks like it could even be within that same park.
Yeah, it does look like it's in the same park. Well, let's see here.
Go back to, and we'll look at batch 3 and look at the first property down.
And all right, so we've got one batch, two batches here, and then here's our third batch. And here we've got this property right here, which is currently at $2,700. You see it's addressed there, and here it's assessed at 69,000. And here we go. We can see more images here. So this one is also, yeah, looking at the mobile home, it is either a newer mobile home or it's been newly renovated. Because we can see at least, recently painted maybe.
Yeah, whenever we see windows open, if the property's not occupied, that's a big red flag, but we can see the dog coming down the steps. You can see, so the fact that the window's open, it looks like they're just drying some clothes off of it. We can see cars there in the parking lot. Now, if this was, a mobile home on its own piece of land, or even in a mobile home park, and that window was open and it was vacant, then we'd completely avoid it. That would be a red flag and no go. But in this case, we can see that it's occupied, the window's open because the people are there currently.
Yeah, it's an interesting property here. And now let's there we go. Let's see. So here we have another one here. This one's at $4,700 currently. And yeah, this one they value assess at 97,000. So they've got a little bit higher value here with it. And let's pull up the images here. I'm just gonna grab that. This is in Puyallup. I'm saying that wrong here. That's kind of a hard city to say.
Yeah, it's probably some Native American word.
Oh, here we go. So we've got some good images here of this property. And yeah, again, you can see a property that is in, pretty good shape in general. I mean, it looks like every, siding has been painted or repainted. The roof looks like it's in decent shape. I mean, it appears to be in pretty good condition.
Yeah, it looks like they've upgraded the vinyl windows. Everything looks on it pretty well. The roof, I don't see any major damage at the roof we need to be worried about or anything like that.
And there's our place here. That looks like where we are looking at. Yeah.
And I know we're looking at Washington here, but these can be purchased in South Carolina, they can be purchased in Illinois, they can be purchased in Pennsylvania, and a number of other states. Not every state's going to offer up their mobile homes in a tax sale auction like this, but there's a number of different states out there that we can take advantage of this strategy and start earning residual income or flip the property for profit.
Yeah, in fact, this one, it's interesting. We can see it's valued at about 98,000. It's a 1989 mobile home, so it's not a new mobile home. It's just one that has been, that's been fixed up or renovated here, and it's in decent shape now. But yeah, you can see with where it's bidding at right now. I mean, it's at, it's at $3,000 or $4,000 currently. But it is, it has good value to it, and obviously would have good rent potential as well. I think this property could also rent out for, for quite a bit here with where it's at. A lot of these properties could, but you can see the opportunity, with any of these properties to acquire them, and to be able to turn around and basically instantly create monthly revenue for yourself, that will continue to come in month after month.
Yeah, exactly. So in this case, if we were interested in bidding on this property, we'd go ahead and we'd contact the mobile home park. In fact, the mobile home parks are listed there in the auction information. It has what mobile home park the property is located in. We'd contact them. We'd go ahead and figure out what the market value is. What are mobile homes similar to this one selling for in this area where you're just selling this personal property, the mobile home itself, not the land, and would determine what the market value is. Then we'd set our high bid amount as well, and would probably have an on-site photo as well, so we know what we're actually purchasing. In fact, we can see what mobile home park that is located in the Country West Mobile Home Park. So we know who we need to contact. We have their information. We've got photos to at least see what the condition was when the photo was taken. And now we just need to do our due diligence to determine what needs to be done before actually bidding on the property.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, uh, this is just one sale of many, and oftentimes when mobile homes are offered in sales, they are offered separately because of this reason, because they don't exactly fit into, the regular real property. So it's a lot of times, they'll be separate like this, and there are lots of lists that will come up. So there's opportunities, to do this, and not just, with the one list we're showing you right here. There's opportunities throughout the United States for properties like these, mobile homes like these that you can pick up.
Yeah, in fact, this week during our coaching call, when we talked with our coaching students, we went over some mobile homes that were auctions that were taking place in Illinois that were using this same strategy. So there is a ton of opportunity in buying these type of properties. A couple of things to remember: we're buying personal property, not real property. When we talk about real property, that means it's on its own piece of land. So in this case, we're buying personal property. We're buying the mobile home itself, not the land. We also need to check the market value. We mentioned that before. It's so important to determine what the property is actually valued at as a mobile home before actually bidding and determining what our high bid should be.
Yeah, and obviously this is something we'd want to know. We'd want to check the rental market in an area because this is very dependent. Well, if you're planning on renting it out, obviously, as we've seen, you could turn around and just sell one of these properties outright, which lots of people are selling them. You'll see other properties for sale, in the area, and you can find comps. Like we said, it's one of the nice things is that finding comps is pretty easy to do when you're dealing with, with mobile homes. So we definitely want to be aware of the area though before we buy. So if we're going to look into a market, we want to see, just how much stuff is on the market currently, how much stuff is moving. That will give us a pretty good idea of what we could do there. But we also want to know how much we'd be looking at here for fees and what rules there may be, that we would need to be concerned about. Is there some kind of a rule that prevents us from, from renting it out to somebody else other than us? Or is there other limitations or things that you can't do with it? Anything else to know essentially before you pull the trigger and buy?
Yeah, I mean, really, like any type of tax sale investment, we need to do our due diligence beforehand. It's so important that we don't make mistakes. Even though there's a huge amount of opportunity to make money in tax sales, you can also make mistakes. In fact, if you're interested in learning more, be sure to check out our membership program on taxsalesupport.com. That's going to give you access to all of these lists. That's one thing that's just in a huge value on its own, is knowing what auctions are taking place, where are they taking place, here's the list or the online auction link, so that you actually know what's taking place. Some of these auction websites may only have a couple of different counties they do each year, so they may not be on a big, huge main auction website, and that's where we have go through and find all of those lists. We've been doing it since 2007. So if you're interested, go ahead and check it out. We offer a 30-day money-back guarantee with our membership program, and we really do believe it's the best value in tax sale education.
Yeah, in fact, part of that membership includes our materials that you download and read, and we have an entire program that basically will teach you how tax sale investing works, kind of step by step here. Starting with definitions and understanding some of the basic mechanics of property tax enforcement, but then also from a state-based perspective, we very much look at a variety of different states here across the U.S., and we can help you figure out what strategy is going to work best for you based on what your objectives are, what your resources are as well, because that's important. Basically, we can help you understand what is possible to do and help you figure out which one of those possibilities or options is going to fit best for you. And then beyond that, which areas, which states and locations where you may be able to use that strategy, to invest.
Yeah, absolutely. You can also go down to our descriptions and click on the link there if you'd like to attend one of our free webinars. You can go ahead and sign up for that. We have our free ebook as offer as well, in addition to our membership program, which is going to give you access, like Shay said, to all of our materials, all of our list, everything like that. So we appreciate you guys watching this video. We're going to keep trying to put out some interesting videos on great topics. So please subscribe, give us a thumbs up. It makes a big difference for us.
Yeah, thanks for your time.
Appreciate it.